Hello, beautiful people. Viv going live from York, a bit later than normal, but I was at a meeting, so yeah. So I thought I'd do a thing. I've been reading a couple of books and working on the way that I work, and I thought I'd give you some top tips that I found that have helped me be less distracted. And that is something I do sort of, let's be honest, I do struggle with that. I like the idea of having lots of things on the go at the same time. I like multitasking. I'm always reading more than one book. I've always got like notebooks with various things in. I normally am doing more than one course, and I've got 2 businesses and a part-time job. And I home ed my kids. One kid. So it is something I've been looking at recently, and I'm wanting to write my book, and I'm wanting to do a bit more writing and stuff like that. So I've been reading this book, and I am still reading this book. It is a good book, actually. I'm enjoying it. So that's been really interesting from the point of view of going into how not to be sort of distracted, but also that's more about why getting into the flow and doing deep work and being in the zone, how it works and why it's really important. I've also just finished listening to a book called Distractable, which again had some really good tips about stuff. But so I just thought I'd give you a bit of context. Weird, because it's called context switching. So I used to think that being like multitasking was fine. I was really good at it. I could do lots of things at a time until I watched something, and I can't remember who it was with, but it was research done on what happens when you have lots of things happening at the same time. So, I mean, it's very job based, like if you're working, if you've got how many projects you're working on at the same time. But what I found really interesting was how many tasks you would have before actually you were pretty much losing 100% of your time and not concentrating at all. So if you've got one project that you're working on for, in a standard 8-hour day, you can concentrate 100% on that. And actually you gain some on your 100% because you get into a flow state where you're really working on that. You know exactly what you're doing. You might get new ideas on it and stuff like that. So that's what it goes into with the sort of deep work idea. You're working 100% on that task, but actually you get added value in there because of that. Hi, Val. If you've got 2 projects you're working on or 2 tasks, you lose 20% when you flip between them. So say if it's an 8-hour day, you think you would get 4 hours on one task and 4 hours on the other, but you don't. You lose a bit in the middle because when you come out of one task, you have to forget what you were doing. You now have to really get into what the other thing is, and you lose 20%. And also you don't get that added bonus of being really in the zone with that thing. If you're doing 3 tasks, you lose 40%. So, I mean, how many of you out there have 3 things on the go when you're working on your business, or have 3 projects that you're supposed to be working on, or get distracted? I mean, we're not even talking about if you're in a office environment and you get distracted, or if, like me, you're self-employed and the phone goes, or a notification pops up on Facebook. And then if you ramp up to 4 tasks, which I can easily have 4 things that I'm doing at once, you lose 60% of your time to switching between those tasks. I mean, that's phenomenal. In 5 tasks, you're literally only working 4% on those 5 tasks. So you're losing a massive amount. So that's something I'd learned quite a while ago. But I have a lot of distractions coming in on the day. So that's why I started sort of reading a bit more around how am I going to manage this. I'm not fantastic at time blocking. So that's one of the things they say to do is actually put everything in your calendar. Put when you're doing your exercise, when you're having your family time, when you're working on your business, what you're working, even break down those business things into what are you doing? Are you going on Facebook? But this is something that I've really listened to quite a few people about how they do it, and this is seeming to be how they do it. So the problem I had with time blocking is I don't have a standard week. There is no standard week for me with what my kids are doing and various other things going on. So what I've decided to do is time block my week at the beginning of the week. So do some proper planning. What do I really want to do? When do I want to fit my writing in? And actually that's bringing in some deep work stuff as well. So actually trying to block out 2 hours, for example, which is the sort of minimum that they talk about in this book, to really work on my writing with no distractions. And the problem with my family life is it's not easy to have no distractions. So I'm just about to do a Tony Robbins thing, and it was quite good because I was thinking, oh, I need to make myself a little do not disturb like sign for the door. Now my family are quite good. If they can hear my shamanic drumming through the door, they won't come and disturb me because they know I'm on a shamanic journey. But I don't really want drumming happening, although it was very tempting just to have my shamanic drumming on all the time if I don't want to be disturbed. But I'm actually going to use the Tony Robbins do not disturb. I can't remember what he's put on it, but so I'm actually going to start using that. It sounds daft, but I'm going to start using it when I'm really getting into me wanting to have some, even if it's just me time. But if I want to get into my zone for writing, it actually takes me quite a while to get into that, just because of the way my brain works. So I'm going to start using that. The other big thing, and I can't show you because I'm actually doing my live on my phone, is switch your notifications off. It's a biggie. From the Distractable book, he says we've got too many things going on that are pinging for our attention, and there's a reason that they do it. And if you want to know the reason why you're getting notifications and they're trying to suck you into email and Facebook, and watch the Netflix, I can't remember what it's called, social, I'll try and find the name for it, but the recent thing they've just brought out, which is people from Instagram and Facebook saying how they've set it up to massively distract you, and it goes into actually more stuff. Social Dilemma, I think it's called. Go and watch how they are trying to suck you into these things and why they're doing it. So switch the notifications. Everybody's got a chance to go on the phone and say, I don't want to be notified with Facebook. I don't want to be notified when I get an email. Set up blocks of time where you reply to emails, and you can even put it on your put a signature on saying, by the way, I only answer my emails on Fridays, so if this is an emergency, feel free to text me or to message me, but I only answer my emails between 4 and 5 on a working day or whatever. So really start, you can share that information with people and say, I'm working on whatever I'm working on to be a better person, to be able to give you the best thing that I do. So for me, I want to be a really good poetry writer, or I want to be a really good shamanic practitioner, and I can't do that if I'm distracted all the time. So it's fair enough putting on an email signature, I only answer my emails at this time, so if it's important, then text me. And actually quite a lot of emails aren't that important. The other thing is to give if you are doing stuff like writing a book or get absorbed in something that you're doing, then I would highly recommend reading something like this, which explains to you like the psychology of why it works and how important it is. Now, it's really this book is really lovely because it's talking about it's not that easy to do if you've got a normal job or you work 9 to 5, but there's ways that people have got around it that have really worked. And the time blocking is a good one for that. You could just do like a deep work session once a week, for example. That's probably where I'm going to start with continuing to write my book, because I don't have a massive amount of time. Book switching thing, I'm going to game time. So switch off the notifications from all your social media. Go and watch that Social Dilemma if you want to know why. I mean, that's been a biggie for me because I do get easily distracted. Time block. So actually put in time. You can break it down. We've got so many different calendars you can use now. You can do it in a paper calendar. I love a paper calendar. Block time for your family and for yourself, and then for your work. Even down to I'm only going to spend half an hour on Facebook in the morning and half an hour in the afternoon and half an hour in the evening. Really concentrate on which groups do you actually want to go and look at. You could split that down across the week. Which people do I want to connect with? I mean, the search facilities on there are really good now. Even put stuff down like time block out your family meals and actually say to everybody, put your phones away. I didn't even know there was a thing called phubbing, which is phone snubbing, where if you're all without your phones, if something pings and they start looking at their phone, it's called phubbing. It's actually got a word, who knew? Maybe consider getting a sign for your door or something that says, I'm not available, this is me time. And I think that's important for me time as well as for work time. As I said, I'm going to use my Tony Robbins one. And then if you want to go and find out more, go and look up context switching, and you'd have to put context switching with productivity, because it is actually a something that also happens in IT. And just be aware, if you're working on 4 tasks and you really think you're working on 4 tasks, you're not. you're only getting 10% time on each of those, and you've lost 60% of your time. So this is something that's worth doing. You could even split your working week into, maybe Facebook is my Monday, and Tuesday I'm going to be working on my book, and Wednesday I'm going to be working on that course I'm doing, or whatever. Even splitting it across a working week, for example. Now this isn't something easy you can do if you're actually at work, but it's something maybe worth sharing if you've got a boss who if you want to say, like, I'm only going to be answering emails and I'm going to put a signature says I'm not responding other than that time. It's definitely something that's worth doing. So I just thought I'd share all those with you. The Indistractable is really nice to listen to if that is something that you want to find out more, but it's pretty much saying we're getting pulled in all directions and it's really not good for us, and it's not good for our kids either if we're supposed to be concentrating on them and we're forever looking at our phone. So go and switch all your notifications off. Maybe set up some time blocks where you go, this is the time I'm going to work on Facebook or on my business or on my writing, or have time with my kids, or sort out my family meal. Make sure that you're in there somewhere, because I know people forget that you need to look after yourself. Maybe get a sign for your office door saying, I am indistractable, I don't want to be bothered. Remember to take it off, because they may just think you're snubbing them totally. And if you're interested in either of those books, the Deep Work one's really good. The Indistractable one's really good. There are other ones out there, I know, because I've seen. And just be aware that, yeah, working on one task, you're going to be getting way more done, because you're going to get that 100% of time, but you're also going to get that sort of deep work flow state when you're concentrating on one thing. So I just thought I'd share that all with you. Yeah, because I thought it was interesting, and it's going to be something that I'm going to do, but I'm going to have to do mine sort of week by week, because I just don't have that sort of thing. But it's something that you can do, and it's something I have done with the notice, and it does work. Don't distract me. I'm getting on with my work. Talk to your family about it. Maybe they'll want to know not to be distracted and to be indistractable, as he calls it. So take care, everybody. Remember, you're all wonderful, amazing people. If you want to talk to me about any of that stuff so I can point you in the right direction, just let me know. And see you next week at the normal time of 9 o'clock. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.